Welcome to fucking Boondocking with Sean, day 14 of a 16-day, 3,302-mile road trip in which we managed to pay fucking zero money for campsites. And this is our second day in the high desert of northern Nevada in the Sheldon National Wildlife Preserve and camped out at Virgin Valley Warm Springs. And this area here is rich in opals, but not rich in cell service, so we have no fucking idea how to look for opals, but we went out trying anyway, because that's how we fucking do. There's something about roaming the desert looking for treasures, rock hounding and shit. It's my jam. I love the sagebrush and chaparral, the mesas and arroyos, but mostly I like the solitude and the deafening silence.
How deep in are we going? I'm kind of hungry.
Only as deep in as you let me, dear.
Well, an opal miner gotta eat too. Hee hee.
I just can't do an old miner laugh that doesn't sound like Michael Jackson. What the fuck? I mean, I tried for 3 days and it never changed.
Hee hee.
See what I mean? Fuck. Anyway, see that hole? Looky here what I found. Yeah, it's a rock. Duh. But I found a fleck of opal in it. And,
oh, we got us some damn miners here. Woo hee hee woo hoo.
I know. Anyway, you can't see it on here, but it's there. Turns out people don't really look at rocks for opals, but we were so fucking diligent, I done found me a flake.
Well, now that I'm a real opal miner, me and old Nicholas gonna do how an opal miner do and celebrate with a drinky poo. Hee hee, Billie Jean was just a miner.
I know. For Nicholas, being a hardcore rock hound is one of those little jeweler dealies, so we can confirm. Fucking opal. Tiny as fuck, but fuck it. Searching for opals for me is kind of like fishing. I don't really give a fuck if I get a bite. I'm just here to marinate in all the pervasive stillness, be it lake or desert. But when the fucking chocolate falls into the peanut butter, or in this case, warm mineral water, pools in the desert, then you may have just found paradise.
After a long day of opal mining, I likes to soak up in these here desert warm springs. Hee hee.
Oh my god, please stop talking like a fucking Michael Jackson miner. It's embarrassing.
So we beat it, just to beat it. Bucka-oo.
That is to say, we left the hot springs and headed back out in the desert. Those opals ain't gonna find themselves. Drinky poo. What, you don't drink coffee in the afternoon? Anyway, we took off with Wifey Poo and Mrs. Furniculus. That's her back there with a coffee cup head. We collectively decided to take a break from opal mining on account of no one in the group could handle any more of my Michael Jackson miner impression, myself included. Whoopsie doodle, spilled my coffee. And by the way, we break for snakes and also boobs and drinky poos. And did I mention boobs? I know I mentioned Furniculus as a rock hound, but him and Mrs. Furniculus bring an actual fucking rock hound wherever they go. Anyway, we came out to this amazing and barely known place called 1,000 Creek Gorge. There aren't any fucking signs or kiosks or visitor centers or stores. Thus no crowds, in fact no people, and not even any fucking trails. Just a crazy, beautiful, natural feature that you've never heard of. By the way, in our travels, so far we've come to learn that there's all kinds of amazing little nooks to find that haven't been tapped for money, but the only way to find this kind of shit is to go out and find this kind of shit. It's a boots-on-the-ground deal that you're watching on a screen right now, so you're welcome. But anywhere that has water in the desert is worth investigating. The juxtaposition is always interesting and sometimes weird. Watch me pull a desert frog out of my ass. Fuck it. I know. Anyway, look at this fucking place. Furniculus worked on his injured dog call. Pretty damn good. And I actually talked shit with a crow. Well, we went in as far as we reasonably could and then headed out. I'm liking all this lichen. And then we all kind of drifted in different directions, led by that mysterious tug that the desert presents, uniquely in each individual. And I went to investigate a cave I saw on the way in. In my younger days, all I really wanted to do was go find a cave somewhere, crawl in and not come out until I'd figured out the fundamental mysteries of the, universe and existence. But what I didn't know then is that it's not necessary to go hide away or wear a robe or even name that path you've traveled on towards the one thing true. The one thing true is fucking you, and we're already in sort of a cave of the mind that we peer out of into the world. It's cool and comfy in here, and sometimes it's not, but like the mind, there's only so much to find. Don't get me wrong, the mind is a vast area of exploration. It's amazing, but it's limited to its own cave, and it's a noteworthy realization in itself that we're all looking out from our own cave, and although we think we're right, every motherfucker is looking out of their cave also thinking that they're right.
Hi, I'm fucking hot. I'm staying down here. You go do you.
Alright, dear. Cheersies. The point is that every fucking cave opening is different. Different shape, width, different colored rock, but the space within is what matters. The inherent emptiness is what we all share. It's an emptiness that's somehow awake, but that wakeful nothingness gets identified with the interior of its cave and its attributes and looks out through the opening. Thus, the universe forgets it's all one thing, and we get to be a me. Pretty fucking cool, eh? So, anywho, I try to get the fuck out of my head, escape the tangled web of thoughts, and stand tall under the open desert sky, which serves to remind us that this dirtball hurtling through an infinite freezing hostile void punctuated by massive nuclear explosions called stars has somehow formed a bubble of air like an invisible fucking wall, holding out the tremendous freezing void that is somehow peopled and grew meat tubes with appendages that are capable of being aware of their own fucking awareness. And even in the relative hostility of a desert, our softness has survived eons of jagged existence and have led to this moment where you're looking at my glorious mustache on a thin piece of glass. What the fuck, right? Also, don't put obsidian in your nose. Don't be a dumbass. It's good to have perspective, and how fucking wild and interesting is it to be such an incredibly tiny meat tube rubbing against other meat tubes, all just animated emptiness that's somehow awake, for fuck's sake. But anyway,
Opal miners gotta eat. Hee hee.
so that's what we did. We made chow mein. And look at me, a sort of golem made entirely of elements, forged within collapsing stars, rearranging other elements in a form that we call food, and ingesting and shitting and fighting and fucking and living and dying, no more than invisible little squirming molecules in reference to the enormity of space and time. And yet each of us appear to ourselves the center of a universe, a lead actor in our own existential movie. See what happens after a couple days in the desert? You don't hear people bitching about work or taxes or some dumbass TV show, do you? Well, you can find me gazing into an endless, dark, starry night, not giving a fuck and being content to simply be. So, toodaloo.
Hee hee.